Hi guys, so welcome back to my channel. Hi, how are ya? So in this series we're going to kind of explore what do you need, what don't you need, what can you get by with not having in your makeup routine as a beginner. And there's a lot of things that are optional. There's a lot of things that I personally think are very, very important. So I'm gonna be using the same intro for every video. So if it looks familiar, that's because it is. So the first video, we're gonna focus mainly on our eyes, our first few steps on our eye routine. So enjoy. Thanks guys. The only thing we're going to focus on today is this portion right here. So all we're going to do is focus on eyes, and we're going to focus on what do you need and what don't you need. So the only things you're going to need for this is some sort of eye primer and an eyeshadow palette and some brushes. So the very first thing that is optional that you don't need is an eyeshadow primer. This one is by Ulta. Guess what? Don't need it. You can use concealer or you can use your foundation. However you want to use it, just so there's something so the eyeshadows adhere to your eye, basically. So what I like to use is, this is the Too Faced Born This Way concealer in the shade Light. This is what I like to use because it didn't work as a concealer for me, so it got demoted or whatever to eyeshadow base primer, however you want to say it. If you hear like shouting and stuff in the background, my niece is running around out there with my husband and my brother. So I'm just going to take the AOA Studios E123 brush. It's just a flat like little paddle brush. It's perfect for packing on the primer, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. I like using a brush for everything. You don't have to. It's just a personal preference. So you're going to take and you're going to put that concealer, that foundation from your lash line all the way up to your brow bone, or all the way up to your brows. Okay. And I like taking it, putting it on the inner corner of my eye as well. Okay, and you can also use your fingers to smooth it out if that's something you want to do as well. So now you see the difference in my eye, because here there's discoloration on my lid. Now it's just one blank canvas. So basically in this section, I did the exact same thing to my left eye that I just did to my right eye. So if you want to go ahead and do that, and then we can continue on and we will do it in real time together. I'm going to come in with a second brush here. This is also by AOA Studios. These are $1 brushes, by the way. So they're not like expensive by any means. So this is the high definition brush. It's the E103. It's just a real domey shaped, and yes, it's dirty because it's used. And this is the eyeshadow palette we're going to dive into. This is the LA Colors Shadow by Numbers, and this is in the shade The Big Bang. Don't come for me. I have used this a lot. I've hit pan on this one. So you can kind of see in the pans that it's numbered, and that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then on the back of it, they actually show you like where you're supposed to place the shades. It's just my camera wouldn't focus on this spot. I apologize. But then you can just match it and create that same look, which I love these eyeshadow palettes just for that reason. So we're going to start with this shade right here. And I like to start with a shade that's similar to my skin tone, just to set that primer so it's not tacky. Okay, so then I'm just going to take that brush, and wherever I put that concealer, I'm just going to put that eyeshadow. And it should just blend right in because it's very similar to your skin tone. So you're just taking that color and literally putting it everywhere. Just putting it everywhere that I put that primer. Well, it's not a primer, I guess it was my concealer. Okay. All right, and for this look, we're going to do something very minimal, very not difficult whatsoever. Okay. All right. So it's dirty. What's new? This is the AOA Studios 126. It's a nice blending brush, nice and fluffy. So the next shade that we're going to use is this shade right here. It's a little bit darker, and that's going to define our crease a little bit. And you're like, what is your crease? Your crease is, if you look at my eyes, how they're hooded, this is my crease right here where, like, right above my eyeball, okay? I can put my brush right there. It's right above my eyeball. And for me, I have hooded eyes, so I have to basically recreate my crease, because if I put the color right there, it's just gonna get sunken in of the folds of my skin right there because I have hooded eyes. So I have to put it up above that line. For anyone else who has normal eyes, right above the eye, you want to just tuck your brush literally right in above that eyeball. That's where your crease is. And that's where we're going to put in this like transition shade is what they call it. And it helps blend all the eyeshadows together. So I'm just going to tap, tap, tap in here. And I'm just going to put this in my crease. And this is what I do with every single eyeshadow. Let's see if I can lock this on myself. Okay. So I'm going to take the brush and I'm going to put it at the outer edge. And then I'm going to bring it in, because I want all that color focused on the outside, and then we're just going to bring it in. So all that color gets focused towards the back, and then I'll bring it in, okay? I'm just going to dip right back in to that same shade. I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to start on the outside, going to stamp and pull that in. I want most of that product on the outside, and then I just drag it in from there. Okay. And you see there's just like a little white, well, not white, there's a nice wash of color. I dip back in once more. I'm just going to focus that on the back, and then I'm going to drag it in. And you want windshield wiper motions, which is back and forth. You can do circular motions, however you want to do it. That's most comfortable for you to blend in that eyeshadow. Okay. And then I'm just going to slowly work up to that edge of that darker eyeshadow to blend it so it doesn't look so harsh now that we put all that color into our crease. How it just gives the eye so much more definition. It's super pretty. And that's a 25-cent eyeshadow, by the way, because this eyeshadow palette was $1. It's got 4 shades in there. 25-cent eyeshadow looks that pretty. Like, it's so pretty. Just gives your eyes some definition. I love it. My favorite. Okay. So I'm going to do the exact same thing to the other side. I'm just going to dip into that darker shade and do the exact same thing. So I'm going to pack all that color. I'm going to start right at the outside, and then I'm going to pull it in. So just start and pull it in. And then use windshield wiper motions. Okay, I'm gonna dip back in. Just stamping that color in the back. And then I'm going to drag it in. It doesn't matter if you get some on your lid, because we are going to go back with a different color. Okay, just going to stamp some more on there. Since we dipped in 3 times for this eye, we want to dip in 3 times for this eye as well. So I do hold my brush really weird when I do this, because I hold it like this. You will develop a different way of holding it. That's just a personal preference for, you know, the makeup artist. Look at me, I'm a makeup artist. Yeah, right. Okay, so just stamping that in the outer edge here and bringing it in. Okay, then I'm just going to take those edges and fan those out. Okay, and here's also a trick that I also like to do if I can't get it to blend out, which mine are blending out just fine. But I'm going to dip back into that first shade that we used to set our concealer with, or our base. So the product's just on this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to angle the brush like this and go on the very top of that shadow and just blend that out using that shadow, and just everything just fans out beautifully. It's also a really, really pretty trick. So since I did it to this eye, we're going to do it to the other eye. So I'm just going to tap in there. It's all on that side. So I'm going to have my brush at an angle and come in and just go along the top portion of that darker eyeshadow and just fan it out. And wha-bam! Easy, blendable, super, super easy. And it just gives your eyes just a little more to them. So love it. So the last step that we're going to do in this portion of the eyes is we're going to put a little bit of a shimmer on our lid. And so I'm going to go in with this third shade right here. And we're going to put this all over our lid. And for me, using shimmers, I personally like using my finger. Excuse me. Personally, I like using my finger, but you can use like a little flat brush like this to pack the color on. I just like using my finger. So all I'm going to do is I'm literally going to take there and just rub it into that shade and get it on my finger. Get a little more on there. And then all I'm going to do is just take it and pat that on my lid. Just like that. Just to give my eye just a little more interesting kind of detail. Love it. Cute. And then I just kind of take it and I work it into my crease a little bit just to kind of blend it with that other shade. So now you can't tell where one starts and the other one ends. It's a cute moment. You know, for a 25-cent eyeshadow, can't really complain. So I'm just going to swirl my finger and pat that color on. Okay. And then I'm just going to place that on my lid. Just a pretty flush of color. It's supposed to be a shimmer shade. It's not too shimmery. It'll be shimmier. It'll probably be a lot shinier if we use a brush and some Fix Plus, but for the sake of this video, that's what we're gonna do. All right. Then what I like doing is, because I do use cheaper eyeshadows, there might be some fallout and stuff underneath my eye. So I am going to take a makeup remover wipe. This is just a personal thing. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take and just wrap my finger in it and run it along the bottom. And then I'm going to cut that eyeshadow that I had. I'm going to cut that up. Just kind of snatch it up a little bit. Okay. And I'm just going to do the exact same thing on this side. Just take it and snatch it up. All right, you guys, for 75 cents, this eye look so far is complete. We will definitely do some more work on it later, but this is what we got. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.